Soul Logistic Radio Show is sponsored in part by True Love and Life Ethiopian Coffee, made with the original Ethiopian coffee bean. For more information, log on to roundtable.health.
Peace and blessings, and welcome to the Sologistic Radio Show podcast. I'm your host, Doug Evans, the unknown icon. A few people call me Hannibal Smith. I got the Minister of Information, the straw that stirs the drink, the movie critic. Fat Tommy was popping, man.
Man, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you.
Been a minute. We jump right into it.
Man,
Day, on this day, Jeffrey Osborne was born. What do you think about LTD? Did you like Jeffrey Osborne music,
man, I
LTD? I
like
loved it.
Jeffrey Osborne, LTD. You know, for the longest time, I thought it was a car. Then I found out it stood for love, togetherness, and devotion. But yes, I was down with LTD and Jeffrey Osborne. I was a fan. I'm still a
Word,
fan. Yeah, I break out
word.
some when I'm sitting around on Sundays sipping on my wine. I break out the little Jeffrey Osborne, not Epstein, Osborne.
Also, happy birthday, rapper AZ. AZ.
AZ. My favorite line from AZ was this. I used to say, if Biggie wouldn't have died, Jay Z would be AZ.
Oh, bow, bow, bow. Also, on this day, the movie House Party. House Party. Where was you at when House Party was released, yo?
Man, what city was I living in?
It was
Oh,
1990. Yeah.
1990. I was either in Richmond or Dallas. I moved in I was in Dallas. I left here in 89. I was in Dallas.
What did you think about the movie?
Oh, I loved House Party. One, two, didn't they have three of them? I know
Yeah, I
they
don't know
had
about
two,
three.
but
I
you
don't know
know, a
about
lot,
them.
cause Robin Harris, what was the light skinned dude?
Yeah.
The light skinned comedian was in that with the freckles. Remember, he was the next door neighbor, only the light skinned guy. He was in it. Um, Martin,
Bernie
that
Mac.
was
Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. Martin, a lot of young hip hop. Because to me that was like
No, Bernie Mac wasn't in House Party. No, my fault.
uh,
You had me
it was
thinking
like
about Friday for a minute.
it was like movies and hip hop were closely related at that time. So House Party was Kid and Play, so it was a straight up hip hop and it was a dope party. Martin had the funky breath. That was the funky breath scene, Martin. Yeah, I thought it was dope. Both Salt and Pepper in there, all the rappers. Tisha Campbell. Well, she ain't a rapper, but she was in it. It was a great movie. I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Also on this day, we lost the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. And make sure y'all tune in tonight, 6 p.m. on the Soul Logistic Radio Show. I'm gonna pay homage to Biggie Smalls. I'm playing some Jeffrey Osborne, also some AZ. But Fat Tommy, you're not feeling the tributes on the when somebody passed away. You're not feeling that, huh?
I'm feeling the tribute. Absolutely. I think we should big up brothers, Biggie, Tupac, Malcolm X, all of them, but not on the day of their death. What I keep
Mm,
trying to figure out is why we are celebrating death. Biggie didn't die of old age after living 26 centuries. He was murdered. So
mm.
rather than do all of this on the day of his murder, because see, I think about the family. I just think that Miss Wallace might be in Petersburg today on her way to South Carolina, and she come through and she turn on the radio because she knows she listen to Soul Logistics all the time. She turn on Soul Logistics, and we talking about her son, and she like, that's a bad memory that's brought to her. When we could wait a few weeks because his birthday coming up at the end of the month, we could play his music, and she be riding back, going north, and go, oh, junk, these brothers
You
is
don't you
celebrating the
don't think
life.
you don't think on her birthday she gonna think about he got murdered. You don't think about even on his birthday she gonna think about that. He's not
I
here.
think she may, but what happened is from us being the controllers of the waves. The wave that we putting out is we celebrating his life. You know what I'm saying? Now we can celebrate his life on the day of his death, but it still has a negative connotation. It's what it's like. It's
Like
like
what?
Jesus. We celebrate Jesus on the day of Jesus' death, like the day they hung him on the cross. Oh God, let's go. No, we gotta celebrate these births. I don't want if I get shot down tomorrow, please don't celebrate the day I got shot down. Go back and do my October 4th, the day I rose up. The
So
rise,
do
the
I. So we
ascension.
just we just gonna act like it didn't happen. That's like the elephant in the room. Like we're just gonna talk about Fat Tommy. Some people that's not in the know might not know you passed. You ever looked at somebody and say he's gone? Like
Yeah, and you
why you
know
know
when
nothing
they
about it?
look, and whenever that's white people, right? Whenever that's white people, that's on their birthday. Whenever I
Oh,
hear music
yeah.
going on, and it's even R&B. When I hear Jeffrey Osborne, we playing Jeffrey when? When are we playing Jeffrey?
Today,
Oh, and what's today?
his birthday.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
See,
see, but here's the thing about Solar Radio. I play Jeffrey Osborne anyway. I play Biggie Smalls anyway. So Miss Wallace could check out the show a month ago and know I still play Biggie
right,
Smalls. So
but see what I'm
it's not
saying?
like some of these stations. If you turn on some of these stations, when you hear certain odds, you're like, what happened? Something
Yeah,
must
you
have went
gotta know. You
wrong
hearing
because
so much music, you like, is it his birthday
right,
or did he get murdered today? All I'm
right.
saying
That's
is
not us.
this.
That's not us.
I know we play the music all the time, and I don't even think we're guilty of this. But for so many years, after Biggie died, people were calling me to do interviews constantly on the day of his birth, constantly asking me to explain the story. And I'm constantly saying, like, Biggie is dead now. He was murdered. Let's call me on his birthday and let's talk about all the great things he did. Let's talk about the writing he did. We can still play his music. All I'm saying is when you do it on the day that he was murdered, it start instantly brings us to the conversation of him being murdered. If we played on the day of his birth, yep, the murder may still come up. Absolutely. But I would then sidestep the question and say, but we're here to celebrate his life. Just like now, I'm going to sidestep it again and say, we're here to celebrate his life. Now, why we're doing that on the day he was murdered, I'm not the program director, so I don't pick the topics. I would have chose a day that, again, he was born. I just think that I try to keep everything as positive as possible. That's all I'm saying. So,
I
we could
feel
do
you.
it today or we could do it at the end of the month. It just seems to me if we had two choices, we should choose the one that gives the best vibration. Remember we was
How
young?
about both? How about both? I like to look at the story in its full. I don't look at the world how I think it should be. I look how it is, and so it's going to come up. It's going to be a fan. It's like, whoa, they ain't playing no Biggie. This date, my man got killed. Like, what's up? I'm a type of guy. Listen, you say don't celebrate. I want you to celebrate. If something happened to me, or somebody shoot me down, yes, I want you to celebrate the day I was born
Let me ask a
and the
question.
day
What day did Michael
that
Jackson
fool
die?
shot me.
What day
Huh?
did Michael Jackson die?
I don't know. I don't know what
See?
day he was born.
Right. But what happens is this. And I think this may be unique to hip hop. I'm not sure. I'm gonna take some time and actually investigate. But most of the time, when we talk about celebrating people, we celebrate them on their birthday. When we talk about Malcolm, when we talk about Martin, like when we have January 16th, that's Martin Luther King's birthday. We didn't pick the day that he was gunned down in Memphis and say, okay, let's do a holiday that day. I realize that we want to tell the full story, but we could do better. That's all. I mean, it's just my opinion. My opinion is simply
I
that
feel you. I
we
feel what
should
you.
talk about people
I
on
feel.
the day that they were born.
I feel what you're saying, but I look at on his tombstone is a day of birth and a day he died. I mean, I don't see why
But
you
he didn't
can't
die. He
celebrate.
was
But
murdered.
well,
That's
he
the
was
whole
murdered.
difference. The difference
Well, hold
is
on. Do you think that uh the young folks should understand that we lost one of our great ones on this day because of black on black violence? You don't think they should know that? And then how are we gonna always blame the kids of not knowing if we try to hide some of the truth or we just don't want to tell a story how it is? I got a story to tell. That
because you
what
know
Biggie
what?
Smalls said.
I grew up in America, right? I grew up in America. And the one thing I learned about America is, how the story gets told. So we could actually have Biggie dying in passing from walking too far because we could tell the story any way we want. What we choose to do in hip hop especially, is focused on death, murder, and madness all the
Mm.
time. If I start looking at them, if I look at Tupac, if I look at Juice World, if I look at King Von, all of these celebrations are celebrations around death.
But why do people always talk about what mainstream doing? What are we doing right here today? Do you see AZ? We're celebrating AZ on his birthday. We're celebrating Jeffrey Osborne on his birthday. We're talking about Kid and Play, a positive hip hop movie. So we giving you a balance of all of it. It is what it is.
What
But
I'm saying is,
why do we like when people say, man, there's no radio station that play Soul Logistics is here. Stop saying that. It's here. So what we doing, instead of putting out what other folks is doing, let's talk about what we're doing. So just radio show, your number one source for conscious hip hop and soul music.
I saw an interview on Club Shay Shay with
There you go again.
Steve Stout, right? And the interview was interesting, but here's what I noticed. And I try to not do this, and I try to encourage people to not do this. And that is take shots at people. It's almost like what the kids call dry snitching. It's
Mhm.
like if me and you, I try not to say nothing bad about black people when at all possible. Like right now, I could come on here and discuss all the BS that Fannie Willis is doing down in Georgia and how all of them is snitching, how everybody ain't supposed to be snitching and everybody in her circle snitched. I could be talking about Young Thug. Young Thug down there in a court case where he live or die, YSL, no snitching. I watched the case. Everybody on the stand snitching. One dude called from the jail. Told the whole story, man. Me and Thugger was there. I should have ran the way he ran, man. I took off run. I'm thinking you could leave so much of that out. Today is March 8th. We could have went on by this whole day without even mentioning Biggie's death. Now I
It's
know
March 9th.
March 9th. And people would say, they ain't even mentioned Biggie's death. So we gonna get it either way. People gonna say, and I'm gonna say, why are they always talking about his death? The other person gonna say, Biggie died. They just gonna play Biggie and not even mention that he got murdered today. So we get it both ways. I mean, the yin and the yang, and we don't just constantly promote death. Mainstream radio, in my opinion, absolutely big ups the death of everybody. I don't see us regularly doing this, so I don't put us in that category. But as I ride around the country nationally, I've seen this so much that I said I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I didn't just come up with this because I'm hating on people to do that. I've seen and heard it so much that I thought about how I would feel if it was my child or my best friend or my brother. I'd be like, yo, man, could y'all just cut that out now? Like it's been since what, about 30 years now. Next
But
year will be 30 years.
I mean, to your point, um, remember when we had an artist that was a friend of ours that we submitted a video to Martin Luther King
Yes.
estate use, and the young lady did say, what does his daughter say? I'm tired of hearing about his death. She
Yep.
did say that.
That's and
So,
so I just think that for me, I would have that attitude. So I guess I'm being selfish. I would have the attitude of I start calling stations. Stop playing my son's music on this day. Stop constantly bringing up his death, man. This because it's hurting me. I'm hurting. I'm still mourning, and then I'm reliving it every time I hear the story. Because what they used to do was ask me what happened. Then I got to go into, we was at the Quincy Jones party,
but
and then
for Fat Tommy, did you stop your son when he recorded a record Ready to Die? Did you stop your son for doing that?
well, I watched the interview with Miss Wallace, and I know this don't make a good parent, but she said she was told not to listen to it, so she never listened to his music when he was alive. Now,
So you
when
turn off
I
the
worked the
radio.
record
So turn off the. So Miss Wallace,
on
in all
March
due
9th, turn
respect,
off the radio.
right, right.
I worked Ready to Die. Okay, got a plaque for it. Ready to Die. As a matter of fact, let me go. Oh, I don't have it in the house. Dag, I was gonna go get it and bring it on the screen. But when Biggie died, and people was coming and asking me initially how I felt, my initial response was, "It's power in the tongue," is what my grandma used to say. You running
Mm-hmm,
around giving away T-shirts and saying you ready to die, you get what you preach. Then I had to
mm,
catch myself and say,
mm,
"Hold it. What if Miss Wallace is listening to the interview?"
mm,
Now I'm talking about her son in a negative light because of the way I feel. So
yeah.
I cut it out. I said, you know what? that's how I feel. I'm gonna choose to not answer the question like that. It's sort of like, literally, I try not to answer if I have to say something negative about a person, black or white, but especially black people. I try to sidestep the question because we always get the negative. I can turn on any channel and I can hear us finding ways to take pot shots at each other. I can hear us saying,
True.
stuff from look at her weave. Like, what that got to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? We talking about the law. She did this. And we always fall victim. And then we go on and on and on. Like, for example, I'm gonna give one more example, and you know what? Dag, that means I'm gonna be doing exactly what I just said we shouldn't do. But when I watch, ever since Cat Williams was on Club Shay Shay, right? I've been watching it. His interviews have went to the other side. He getting
Yeah.
closer and closer to Wendy Williams. I mean,
Yeah.
in a week, I'm gonna start calling the brother Wendy.
And,
You
and,
know,
and then he has a problem. He think he can bring that NFL talk to the mud and to the everyday life, like rappers and comedians. They don't have a boss. So you talk crap about Kenny Pickett, he's not gonna say anything to you. But when you talk about rappers and comedians
yeah, they
who's their own boss, they gonna come back at you. And now you like, why y'all coming at me? But that go you playing in the mud now.
well, everybody. I mean, Mace. They all,
Right.
and once you get to a certain level in anything, once you become that dude, that chick, that boss, the underlings come for you. That's just
Mm.
that's the nature of America. And we don't lift them up and say, Shannon Sharp is doing great. We then immediately start attacking them. But in this instance, I think Shannon did a lot to warrant the attacks because when I don't think he should have said nothing to Mike Epps. My personal opinion. My personal
Right.
opinion is
Right.
Mike Epps is a comedian. If I'm on here, Mike Epps say, "Man, Fat Tommy, you the skinniest brother in the world." I remember what's his name? Who played the brother with the afro, the comedian. He played Soul Brother. What was his name? He has
Oh, Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin was getting signed to Warner Brothers, right? He came in a meeting with me, the presidents, and everybody, and they introduced me as Fat Tommy. He said, "You look more like Skinny Wednesday." It was Wednesday. He said, "Man, drop the Fat Tommy and go by Skinny Wednesday." It was so funny. The whole room laughed. I didn't go, "Man, he cracking on me," because that's what he was doing. I
Right.
walk in the room, he cracking on me. I laughed. It was humor. Like, first of all, I am a skinny dude running around with a name, Fat Tommy. A comedian finds that funny. What am
Right.
I supposed to do? So, Shannon Sharp, you in the limelight. You running around doing some questionable things. You know, alpha males, men in general, will look at some things you do and call them into question. He just made a little funny about it. That's all, a jokey joke. It won't that serious to me. It won't serious enough for you to say, keep, keep my name out your mouth. What kind of, I'm 55 years old. What I look like saying, Doug, keep my name out your mouth? I ain't
And
even coming on TV to say that.
Mace said something that was real profound.
So
Mace
Mace
said,
gave the complete, Mace did it in a way, you know what? From a hip hop and a black man standpoint, from the way we came up, he did it exactly right.
Mace said that, why are you coming at all the brothers with all the aggression? When Skip came at you, you showed poise. You
Yep.
sit up. He was thinking the same thing I was thinking. Like, why when
That,
the brothers, you ready to pull up? But
that's exactly.
the
We was
white
in the
dude was
same
right
boat.
in front of you. He
You was in the
disrespect you to your
same room with
face.
Skip. And then what really got me was when Mace closed it up and said, he said, put your glasses on. And you put your glasses on. So I'ma simply say, put your glasses on, Shannon. And I went, Murder
Right.
Mace. He forgot he was Murder Mace before he was Pastor Mace. He was Murder Mace and he hung out with a dude named Killer Cam. You know what I'm saying? Them two dudes. I just think that yes, absolutely. He came at every black person with again, exactly what we're talking about, a negative vibration. When the
Mm.
vibration, he could have laughed it off and said Mike Epps did a funny joke. I can't wait to see him in Indiana. Instead, it's keep my name out your mouth. First of all, from where I sit, that is a female line, just in general. When from where I sit, girls is the ones who run around on television saying, "Keep your name out my mouth. You better not say your name." I don't see too many dudes running around on a talk show saying, "He better keep my name out his mouth."
Well,
Come on now.
all you do is talk about other people.
Yeah, your whole show. And then now when he interviewed Steve Stout, he said, "What do you know about the beef between Jay Z and Nas? What do you know about the beef?" Every question, the first 5 questions he asked Steve Stout was Wendy Williams type questions. They was
True.
questions that create bad energy. And that's all I'm saying. Like he was doing such a great show. It was so positive. When I would turn on and go, "Wow, we getting real information." Now we getting gossip. He didn't came into. But here's the thing: he fell victim to what a lot of us fall victim to. Once you get in a position of power and your show is doing good, someone, I don't know who, but someone then gets you to change the direction of your show, because it seems like his show pivoted to a totally different direction. He was
True.
going somewhere else, and I don't know, it's because he got 40 million. He broke the internet. It went viral. He said he got the check from the Cat Williams interview was bigger than any NFL check he ever got. That's what he said.
Crazy. So
So
now he's chasing that. He's chasing that, right?
right, he's chasing the bag. Which what I don't understand is why rich people are chasing the bag. The one thing I can
They
say
want
that
to
I
stay
appreciate,
rich.
the one thing I can say that I appreciate about Jay Z, and y'all know I'm a Jay Z hater, self proclaimed Jay Z hater, but he's done so much that I can't even continue to hate. I have to back up because I'm gonna look like a real hater. Like he's not just a Jay Z hater, he's just a hater. So
He a
I have
black
to
man.
stop.
He a black man hater.
Right. Oh, and let me just say this. When I say a Jay Z hater, I don't mean as in the man. I mean I worked Biggie, and it was fierce competition, and it's sort of like you a Steelers fan, right? You couldn't just automatically become whoever your rival is. You couldn't for no reason find yourself over there rooting for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's how me and Jay Z got at ends. We only got at ends because I was promoting Biggie, and it was even when they went up the charts, we had so many competitive days chart wise that it's hard for me. But when Jay Z started doing things like getting the music for the NFL, putting out records like 444, just doing things that I considered um, black people with wealth choose not to do. When I look at Kanye completely knew that he was about to lose $600 million if he do what he about to do, and he did it anyway. Those to me are true revolutionaries, especially Kanye, because he stood up and said something that everybody said. I don't think he said nothing brand new, but he said it at the detriment of his own career. Like he said it when everyone was gonna listen. He said it right after Kyrie did what he did. He was like, "Yo, this is what's really going on." To me, that's a man who used his money and platform and power to really speak truth to power. So many of
Mm.
us, when we get money, like Steve Harvey telling Monique, "Shh, go on and take the check. You should just sell out." Like those brothers, I just,
We's black out here. This not the black gang or the white gang. This the green gang.
you know what? I saw an interview.
We's black out here.
I saw an interview from a dude from 1963, and this is what he said in his interview that stuck with me. He said, um, "We're in a race war, whether you realize it or not. By default, you in it." And he said, "We the only race that don't play by the rules." He said every other race, if you look at the Asians, if you look at the Latinas, if you look at the white people, they all stay on code. When it comes time for them to line up and say, "Well, we going this way," they all go that way. When it comes time for us to stand up, for example, the majority of black America doesn't like Donald Trump. Now, I understand a few of us do, a few of us, that's the small majority. But when Fonnie Willis decided that she was going to take on the case, which I thought she should have said that's white folks' business, I'm gonna stay out of it. But she jumped in the fray and decided she was going to prosecute Donald Trump. Who decided to tell? Her best
Well,
friend.
hold on. Before I forget this point, I'm only stopping because I might forget this point. She's the same person that went after Young Thug.
Yes, sir.
So what happened if she don't go after Trump and white folks' business, they'll say, why do you only prosecute the brothers? Go ahead.
Okay. So when she decided to take that case, great. I don't falter. You're a prosecutor. Big ups. Prosecute them. I would have probably sidestepped it unless I had all my ducks in a row. What I wouldn't have did was started sleeping with my assistant and cut her checks and then go to Belize and not have a receipt for it. See, she was a criminal prosecutor. She been in enough of these cases where they'd have called me up. I'd have had signed receipts, paper receipts. Here they all go. He don't give me no money. I just wouldn't have stood up there and said, I don't need no man for nothing. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is they had no case. The only reason why they have a case is because her friend, Yanni, decided to tell it. Her friend decided to call the prosecution and tell it. Bradley, his friend, both of their, they called them BFFs. Both of their best friends told the story. That's why they have a case. Because Bradley said, I know for a fact. He sent a text to the other side saying, I know for a fact it absolutely started when they were municipal court judges. Before the Trump case even came about, they was dating. I said, wow, he told all that? She talking about, I rented in my condo. They was in my condo way before any of this. And I'm saying, we as black people, a white person would never have volunteered. I mean, they didn't even call. This is like they saw it on the news. So Tommy gets arrested for running a red light on Halifax Street. They know my car runs the red light on Halifax Street. They show the car on TV. They don't even say they looking for me. Doug pick up the phone. Hey, did you know that's Thomas Harrison's car? Yeah, it's his Range Rover. He got it on the 3rd of January. He been having it. I could tell by the flaps on the back. They ain't asked you none of that. They didn't even call Doug Evans. They didn't even say they was looking for me. They just showed my car. And that's all they did with Fonnie and them. They started bringing the case, and these people, without a subpoena, without anything, called and started volunteering information. That's the part that tears me up. The part that tears me up is we can't stay on code for politics. Then when I look at the Young Thugger case, the dude who was driving the car crashes into a wall, calls his girlfriend from jail. They played the tapes yesterday. I listened. Called his girlfriend from jail. She put his homeboy on the phone. He says, I was driving Thugger around. I messed up. They ran this way. I ran the other way. I knew I should have ran in the direction with Thugger. Then he told the whole case. He had the gun all on a prison phone. Now, I've never been to prison, but I always heard they record those calls. I think when they call you, because I received, they say, this is a collect call. It will be recorded from such and such. So the call is being recorded. So I think that's dry. That's straight up. That's not dry snitching. That's snitching. Because they listening. If I know that Doug got the police on the phone, I don't then go, well, Doug, we shouldn't have robbed that bank yesterday, man. And why you shoot the dude? We didn't even have to pull the guns out. You just gonna shoot 11 times, Doug? That's what he said on his tape. I don't know why Youngin shot. The police wasn't even doing that. And he said that's why the police shot back at us, because he just opened up and shot 6 times. Why would you say that on a prison phone?
Look, man. Hey, we're gonna get out of here, man. Appreciate you, Fat Tommy. Do not forget 6 o'clock tonight, the Soul Logistics Radio Show on 91.3 WVST. You can listen online, use the Radio FX app or the TuneIn app. Download the app. Thanks, Fat Tommy, yo.
Thanks, Doug Evans. Peace, love, and soul.
Hello again, everyone. It's good to have you with us for this event. It figures to be an exceptional one, one that doesn't need any belt.